Dubai is super focused on becoming one of the most sustainable cities globally, the green revolution of Dubai. How do you think FM, facilities management, and other sectors are contributing to these goals that Dubai has?
The use of technology is the simple answer, and without getting very boring and kind of nerdy into it, it's collecting data on things. So just a very obvious answer would be this room. So an old traditional kind of methodology would be to pump fresh air in, cool fresh air, and then extract the old air. And you might not even measure how many times, air changes, we call it, how many times that happens in an hour or a day or something like that. What's happening now, though, is you take data points, so it looks at the CO2 content, it looks at the temperatures, it looks at, there's an algorithm, again, wet bulb, dry bulb temperature readings, which is a little bit kind of technical, and it looks at the overall environment, and then it alters the air changes. So, for example, if this is a room where there's just two of us in it and we're talking, and let's say, just as an example, it needs 5 air changes every hour, which means that, every hour the total air gets taken out and put back in 5 times, and that's a healthy environment, for example. Whereas if this room was a disco, a nightclub or something, you might have to do that 25 times. And so it's taking that data, rather than just have a set point where motors are running at full speed, nobody's actually measuring what's happening, and it's just, that old kind of way of doing things. We're now using much more data points so that we can tailor environments to the circumstances. So you might see things like, a funny example was, we changed an underground car park so that as somebody walks out of the lift, the lights come on, and they come on in stages as you walk down, and then they turn off in stages.
Sounds like a horror movie.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So we got so many complaints because people would, the lift doors would open, there's no lights on, and they wouldn't go out. And then when they did go out, the light followed them. And they were like, I don't like this, it's really creepy. And so we had to change it back so all the lights were on all the time, which was a waste of energy, but people don't like that kind of thing. So again, it's a learning thing, but so smart isn't always better, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so it's the acquisition of data, interpreting that, analyzing it, working out how we can do things smarter, more automation, less use of energy, more use of people's time, because sustainability isn't just the use of electrons and things, it's people as well. So it's about the movement of people and not wasting those opportunities for people to maybe move around less, although maybe sitting still isn't healthy, I don't mean that, but rather than having somebody move around so much, like meetings, for example, you can have meetings online now. There's no need for us all to drive to a common point. So I think, it's maybe a slightly boring answer, but I think just the use of technology and the use of data so that we can conserve energy and people and time and things like that.
As a long-term Dubai resident, have you seen any examples where you're witnessing Dubai seeing sustainability in action already?
Yeah, so it's what they're doing now is starting to put, or they are putting, and they have put legislation into place. So there are things now where you have to have an energy report for a building, whereas previously you didn't. Even the things like the price of things. So often you control the use of things by making them expensive. So like for example in the UK where I'm from, road car tax is getting higher. So if you buy a great big gas guzzling motor car, there's an initial upfront payment that you have to pay because it's inefficient, and then every year your road tax is high. So you can control people's use through taxation, legislation, and I've certainly seen that in Dubai now, where they're trying to influence people's behaviour by high energy prices. So you switch the lights off, you switch the AC off when you leave a room, because it's going to cost you money. Otherwise, it's hard to change behaviours.
What strategies does Emrill implement to reduce its environmental impact and promote sustainability?
Well, again, like I said, the use of technology. So we're always trying to look for the next new thing or the next new initiative, or like for example, we now use algorithms to control the AC and the lighting in buildings, and even the use of buildings. And so it used to just be the building would be cool 24 hours a day, even if nobody was in it. Whereas now, when everybody leaves, you don't necessarily have to flick a switch. The building sees that nobody's in there, and it switches the light. The lights go down, the AC goes down. It might need to maintain some kind of levels for equipment or something. But again, it's smart. It knows that. Well, I call it smart, but it's an algorithm. It's not actually smart. AI in the sense that the building isn't alive. But you're able to put things, algorithms and control measures in place so that it senses, I keep saying it as if it's a real thing, but the building senses when everybody's left, and it turns the lights down, it turns the AC down, it maybe keeps the AC on in the server room because we've told it to. So again, it's just about smart use of our environments.
How else do you see FM evolving as Dubai continues to strive towards a green future?
Well, FM as a concept is actually very new. People used to call it maintenance. So that when something broke, they would phone up and a guy would come and fix it. I think there's a lot of people around that might even be watching this video that say, well, what is FM? Because, sometimes if I'm out somewhere and somebody says, what do you do? And I normally just say, I'm an electrician, because it's actually hard to say, oh, well, I work in FM, I'm a CEO of a business, and they go, well, what's FM? And then it's a conversation, and it's not terribly exciting about what FM is, but it's, facilities management, and we've even got newer terms now. We call it integrated facilities management or total facilities management, and that means like your whole customer journey. So we've got a lot of people at Dubai Airport, and so from the minute the plane lands, your customer journey starts. So it might be baggage handling, it might be the lighting, the AC, the temperature control, it's cleaning, it's making sure that you're in a healthy environment, that the bathrooms are well maintained, and that whole journey all the way through. When you collect your luggage, you get on the automatic conveyors, all the way till you get in the taxi at the end, and then it conveys you to your house, where we might actually look after your house. If you're in one of the master communities, we look after the street infrastructure, the street lighting, the cleaning, the outside envelope of your villa, even the inside envelope, your dripping taps, your AC that breaks. So it's that whole journey, I guess, through life, and hopefully you don't even notice we're there, because if there's nothing broken and it's a good temperature and the lighting's just right, you don't even think about it. You just pass right through.
Yeah.
So hopefully for our guys, we have quite a large presence at Dubai Airport. I hope that you don't even know we're there. You get off the plane, you go all the way through the airport, you collect your luggage, you go out, you get in a taxi, and if anybody asks you, how was that? You think, oh, that was actually really good. Yeah, it was a great journey through the airport, and there are people behind the scenes making that happen. It's not an accident.
If you can't think of anything negative to say, then you've been successful, right?
Well, clever engineers behind the scene are making that happen. So it's like your car. If you drive your car every day and you manage to do, 200,000 miles and it never breaks down, you don't even think about it. But there's some very, very clever people behind the scenes that designed all those systems so that they won't break down and that your journey is seamless. And that doesn't happen by accident. There are some very clever people behind the scenes making that happen. And also, we're still in the stage where it's human beings that are often doing the majority of the cleaning, the majority of the maintenance and the services that we provide. We don't have robots yet, mainly walking around doing those things. So again, hopefully they're almost invisible. You might see a guy cleaning up, or you might see somebody changing a lamp or doing some maintenance somewhere with a barrier around it, and you're generally kind of used to that and you pass by. But that's people doing stuff so that your journey is hopefully a pleasant experience.